All right, welcome back to another episode of the Top of Off Cricket Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Henry, and with me, I got Sam and Walter. And we talking everything West Indies cricket because right now there's lots of moving parts again, lots of things happening. Guyana yesterday wrapped up their eighth title in 10 years for the West Indies First Class Championship. Congratulations to them, but it wasn't without controversy on the last 2 days. We're going to be talking about that. The West Indies women are over in Pakistan. They're engaged in the World Cup qualifiers, and they're making hard life of it. We are going to be talking about that. Last but not least, we are going to need you to stick around until the end of the show because each one of us are going to name our squad for the Australia tour of the West Indies. So stick around. Lots of good things happening tonight on this show. Let's get it. So, fellas, Guyana wrapped up their eighth title. Congratulations again, once again. Kudos to Tevin Imlach and his leadership. But it wasn't without controversy in the last round. What are your thoughts, Walter?
As you said, congratulations. Good night, good day, good night, wherever you are. Good morning, wherever you are in the world, whenever you watch this. I must say congratulations to Guyana. They truly, in the last decade, they've been the GOAT team in our really or not so good first class season. But they have played the best cricket. I must say that they have played the best cricket, as you said. Tevin Imlach has led from the front. Kevlon Anderson has taken advantage of good form, as you normally say. Please take advantage, and players should take advantage of good form. Regional GOAT Verasammy Permaul has been done good things at the regional level. Ronaldo Ali Mohammed has also done good. However, with this ball tampering, and we have not had a lot of information on this whole ball tampering thing, and I I I don't know if it's misinformation because we're not clear. I don't want to speak on any rumors that we have heard. West Indies Cricket Board have been very vague. They've just said that players have breached the code of conduct, and the breach article for 2125, right? And which relates to the change in the ball condition of law 42.3. So this is a good season for Guyana. Last marred with this ball tampering accusations. We'll just have to wait on what West Indies Cricket Board says and what they'll do. I am not going to say that people should be banned or any further things. Let's just wait and see. And I think the only thing I'll say that West Indies Cricket Board, I hope they don't eventually give a heavy hand, knowing that we've always shooting ourselves in the proverbial foot or feet. So yes, that's what I have to say for now.
You're muted, Kevin.
Sam, you think West Indies could have been more severe with their punishment?
I don't necessarily think so. If in the course of the series, if this was some repeat action, let's say in one game, Permaul is caught doing X, and then in a second game he's caught again, then I would expect some severe penalty. But as it is, I don't have an issue. But just to support what Walter said, here again, I do not believe enough information has been provided. I don't know if it's a case whereby more investigations have got to be done, but as I understand it, both gentlemen who were fined for ball tampering were actually, they pretty much admitted to tampering with the ball. So in my view, we should simply hear, okay, They admitted, and here is what they did. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is also for future cricketers. You know, people must understand, okay, what is not acceptable. But this secrecy around it, I have an issue with that. But in terms of the severity of the penalties, as is, I think it's fine. On the issue of whether this taints our performance, I don't think so. What I do imagine, though, is that it puts a big question mark around Permaul's performance. I know he's a veteran, does well, but there are going to be some questions asked of him. You see? So, for example, Permaul, when you look at the amount of wickets taken, he's at number 3. Permaul and Warwickon actually tied for what, 32 wickets total for the tournament. So I think there's more a question mark on him than the team per se. That's my view on it.
But here's the
I
thing.
don't know.
If we have a veteran, right? Veteran player
Right.
been doing this 17, 18 years, and then we have a youngster. Both of them were given the same charge. Do you think it's a matter of there's an actual author in this? There's a wider, there's more people involved, I should ask?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I mean, Kevlon Anderson is the other person who was charged.
Yes.
And what is instructive there, we got to be careful, is that Kevlon got a harsher fine. I don't know the full reason why, but in my thinking, Kevlon Anderson would have been caught. This was Friday afternoon, the second incident in one match. And I don't know if it's because it's the second incident in the same match why he was given a harsher penalty. I think it was 90% of his match fee.
Yes.
Yes. So if it's indeed the case that because it's the second incident in the same match, they give him a harsher fine, sorry, I am quite fine with that. But I see a point in, this thing might be a broader issue, given that, for example, Kevlon Anderson is not a bowler. Right? So I take your point on that.
It just worries me a little bit because it's happened twice. We have a veteran and we have a young player with everything to play for in terms of his future, right?
Right.
Now, had it been one person caught, I would have been like, But we have two people, two separate incidents on 2 different days. So now I'm wondering, what is the conversations? Is it a little clique thing? Is it a squad thing? Is it a team thing? These are just thoughts that were running through my head. I'm not saying any of these things happened, right? But
is it a mistake?
And here's the other thing too.
Ignorance.
Is it a case whereby this is happening in other teams too?
We just happen to get caught.
There we go.
Anyways, so with the tournament wrapped up, right? Who are your surprise performers, Sam?
Surprise performance. I can't say that I have a surprise performance to talk about. Perhaps I would answer the question differently. Who did I expect to see more from?
Go ahead.
I expected to see more from Jangub, in that you've been given the nod. You're in the West Indies. You've been in the West Indies test side going to Pakistan. I expected to see more from him. His highest score is what, 84? I think. So it's more disappointment than, in terms of surprise, for me.
Walter?
There's nobody surprised me, but I'm impressed by Kevlon Anderson. I'm impressed by Shakir Paris. Right? Shakir Paris, I didn't realize he kind of sneaked up on me. I didn't realize that He's had 546 runs, 550s and 100. This is very good. I mean, he can bat. Gerald Andrew, I like Gerald. I'm calling the young guns. You know who? Actually, you know what I'm impressed by Matthew Ford
You're impressed with
as an
batting?
all-rounder. I'm impressed by Matthew Ford. Um, there are they. I like his attitude.
Okay.
He's got 70 and 300 runs. Um, he I'm impressed by, and also and in the consistency of Anderson, and as I said, Mr. Paris's jumpers. I actually at first for Mikhail Louis I was a little hesitant, but then he kind of got it together at the end, right? It's 350s and 100. When I look at the bowling, that was at the batting side, Mr. Ali Mohammed, and he's got 28 wickets, and he is of the medium pacers because he's done the best because he's not a fast bowler. Johan Lane as well did well. Marquinhos Mini keeps and people like Akeem John, they keep taking wickets. Um Ramon Simmons and Shamar Holder, I think that they did well given the fact that both were injured and they're on a comeback trail. Again, our the only thing is I see O'Shane Thomas, but he was all over the place. Those 17 wickets could have been more. I don't see any growth in him. Um but all in all, I should say I'm not overly impressed by people, but I am happy, I should say. Let me change my words. I'm happy with what I've seen in some of the youngsters in terms of the attitude on the field because I don't know, we're not there. I've not seen the overall attitude. And I think that my number one complaint with the bowling, again, which is every year for the last 50 years in West Indies cricket, just exaggerating, in the modern cricket that we're too spin heavy.
So,
Spin. Carrie Peer, Joshua Bishop, Jamar Warren, these people, the same set of people over and over.
so I would go with Shakir Paris, right? As in, I'm
I
impressed.
can't argue that.
I'm impressed. Here's a young man that I when I first saw him last year in the CPL, he caught my eyes. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he has a nice setup. There is some. He's kind of languid. There's not much rush about him. Something to look at. He had a couple of half
He
centuries.
can bat. He can bat. He can bat. He
Yeah.
can bat, Kefi. He
So
can bat.
I was surprised that he wasn't in the actual Trinidad team. I'm looking at players that Trinidad have, and I'm saying this kid needs to be in the Trinidad Red Force team. Why is he playing for the CCC? Right? But his level of consistency over the 7 matches is what impressed me. His ability to hit the ball.
Mm.
And I'm looking at West Indies are going to need someone who can move the game along in the middle order at some point. Right? Who can bat? Who can actually bat? This young man can bat. No, it's early in his career. So I'm not talking about him. I don't want anybody to look at me and go, oh, you are already calling for him to be in the West. No, not calling for him to be in the West Indies squad. What I would like to see is Shakir Paris back up what he did this year, next year.
Next year.
What I would like to see is him come back in the Super 50, do what he did, because his strike rate is pretty high. Right? He hits the ball well. Hits the ball down the ground well.
But even before the Super 50, the 2020 tournament next.
Yes, he'll be in that breakout series, right? But I'm not worried about the 2020. I'm worried about red ball cricket. I'm talking about longer formats cricket. Right? That's where I want
Okay,
to
cool.
see Shakir Paris. For the next 2 seasons to come, I want to see him back up his performances. On the bowling or on the all round from an all round standpoint, I like what I saw from Ronaldo Ali Muhammad. I really like what I saw from him. There's a lot of room for growth there, right? In terms of his batting and his level of awareness. I'm thinking I don't want to pigeonhole him, but in the T20 one day side, we need an all-rounder who can bat. Andre Russell hasn't been replaced, and it's the reason why he's still playing T20 cricket. You understand? We don't have an all-rounder in the one day side that can come and that can genuinely swing the ball and also can give you some runs down at the end. So those are the two people that impressed me overall. I already knew what Kevlon Anderson could do, so I wasn't surprised. You got something to say, Sam?
Yeah, not to take away from your position on Paris, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in these matters, I defer to you and Walter as senior cricket men on this show, right? But here is something I want you to consider with Paris. When you look at where Paris has scored his runs, he scored against West Indies Academy, St. Augustine, 250s. Against Jamaica, 100 and then a 50. So 85 on 112. Actually 85 not out at St. Augustine. If you go down, there was a match at Taruba, Trinidad again. He scored a 20 and 50. In Guyana at Providence, he did get a 56. So I'm wondering here how well he would do outside of his comfort zone, Trinidad. Maybe I'm stretching here, but
no,
is that something to consider?
It's a good point, right? It's a good point. But that's why I'm saying come back next season, back it up. Come back in 27 and back it up. Because he's a very young man.
Got you.
Right? He's a very young man.
I was going to make that point. He's only 21.
Yeah.
Only 21.
Kevy and Sammy. Kevy and Sammy, that is what you see. All of it, Sammy, you see what you just did is what a lot of fans don't do. Go and look at the fact. What Kevy said before is that you prove it. We cannot decide, the man scored a set of runs we want to play for West Indies. He's not ready. When he come on the ball here, when the ball he edge into slips. And then the man career done and his confidence. Give him, let him go on he should be in the squad for South Africa.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Depends on what we're doing. Because if we're using the squad as preparation, well then, but he should be in A-team tours. He should, as you said, go and do well in the fifth over, do well next year. If we look at Australia's teams, a lot of times, people that normally makes it at a young age. Right. Most times when you make an Australia team, you are the finished product. You're 28, youngest 25. 29, good. And when you see somebody walk out with a baggy green, you got to dig them out of the Australia team. That's the mindset we got to get. Yeah. So when somebody, Joel Andrew, make a run, make him West Indies, it annoys me. Mikhail Louis struggling is behind. Come back. And we begging for the man play. And then
I will say this. When Mikhail Louis, I actually called for that. You know why? Because Tejaran Chandapal couldn't figure out how to score a run. Tejaran Chandapal couldn't figure out where his off stump was. You understand? He was lost.
Still can't do it right now.
And that is true. So here it is. Other than that, no other opener in the West Indies put their hands up to say, hey, I score in runs. You understand? So the West Indian selectors' hands were forced. Mikhail Louis came at a time, at an opportune time. You understand? Now, he's gotten the experience. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, Mikhail, look, You come, you had this chance. This is not the end of the world. You're still a young man. You're 24 years old. This is what I need from you. Come back into first class cricket. We're going to keep you around the A team. You're going to work. You understand? You're going to work out these kinks outside your off stump. We're going to work with you. Get accustomed to, because what a lot of people need to understand, Mikhail Louis is really new to batting. He was a leg spinner. He played for the West Indies under 19 team as a leg spinner. Y'all remember a few years ago when the West Indies Academy team actually won the 50 over tournament? I don't know if you guys remember. This was like about Josh Silva was the captain, I think, at that time. Kevin Sinclair was in the team. Mikhail Louis was the leg spinner. So the young man is new to batting, right? So I got grace for him, not in the West Indies team going forward in the near future, but it was good that he went out there, he got a taste of it, sees what is required. Okay, come back, retool. 2-3 years, you're hardened, you understand your game better, and I think he can succeed. You understand? Because he has the appetite. But anyways, fellas, go ahead, Walter.
One thing I'll say, when I'm looking looking at the stats, we have some very good young players. We got a few good the bowling is not a problem. We got a few young batsmen. I hope that we identify them. Verasammy does this and take care of them and guide them. Have conversations with each territorial boards and say, listen to me. Have conversations with the players. Well, you're earmarked to play for West Indies within the next 2 to 3 years. If you continue with this trajectory of scoring, we're going to send you on A-team tours. We're going to try to see if you could get some contracts someplace else to play cricket consistently. That is what we need. Manage these players, identify a few of them, and let's see how we could work.
Anyways, it was, I agree, right? There needs to be some earmarking of players and, give them an added incentive. Hey, I'm being looked at, right? Not that you need any incentive to want to play for West Indies. But, it's the time that we're in. But while I'm impressed with the number of runs scored by a lot of players, what I didn't see Kemar Roach's replacement, right? I didn't see Jaden Seals' replacement. I didn't see Shamar Joseph's replacement if these men go down. Should they go down? I didn't. So I personally think the West
Anderson Phillip?
Anderson Phillip is in the West Indies setup, right? He was on tour in Pakistan. He's been, for the last couple of years, he's been in around the squad. But I'm saying, okay, if one of those go down, you know that Anderson Phillip is going to come in. But beyond Anderson Phillip, who else comes in? Right? Who else comes in beyond that?
Marquino Minley. He was there before. He actually went to Australia, got injured.
Walter. Marquino Minley is like Devon Smith and them. They are journeymen. You understand? Marquino Minley is a journeyman. Nothing against Marquino Minley. He's a good first class. He's a good professional for Jamaica. You understand? But Marquino Minley is not going to go into Test cricket and succeed. He's not. I don't think he has the tools. One, he doesn't have the pace.
Yeah, he's not quick enough.
He's just not quick enough. You understand? Now, I see young Johan Lane doing some things with the ball. What I liked over the weekend, was seeing Kemo Paul bowl the best I've seen him in probably about 3-4 years. You understand me? I haven't seen Kemo Paul bowl that well in a long, long, long time. Anyways, fellas, we got to move it along.
Why is that so, Kevin? Why is that so? Anyway, we'll talk about chemo Paul later.
We'll talk about
because I
chemo
want to know
in a
what
little.
we
But we got to move it along.
Yeah.
So the West Indies women are in Pakistan. First match they came up against Scotland. Scotland put a decent score on the board, right? The Scottish ladies put a decent score on the board. West Indies were 100 and something for one. Hayley Matthews and Zeta James looking like they're going to cruise, or the West Indies are going to cruise. The ladies are going to cruise. And all of a sudden, Zeta gets out, and all hell broke loose. Hayley Matthews is left fighting a lone hand, ended up with a century. And we couldn't get over the line. What do you think is going on in Pakistan and beyond, Walter? When I say beyond, I mean because this has been something that has been happening. Hayley's been fighting a lone battle for the longest while.
So this is not about Pakistan. I've spoken to a former Guyana cricketer, female cricketer, and somebody I used to mentor, and the person was like, Walter, the Guyana cricket, Guyana cricket is one of the better performers
in regional cricket.
She basically said that in regional cricket, that the preparation that Guyana has is not enough. They don't play enough. The young ladies don't play enough cricket. And if this is in Guyana, I am quite sure that it's the same thing in a lot of the others. Probably Barbados play a little more, but and Trinidad, I don't know, but I don't think that they're playing enough cricket. I don't think they're match ready a lot of times. You can see it in Hayley Matthews, who plays cricket all around the world. And she is truly what as we call a generational talent. She is when in the last game when she had the ball, I was like, okay, we got this. You know, I mean, she's like that. But I think that the coaching staff and them, they're doing a decent job, but I think the problem that with West Indies cricket, and I think we're expecting a lot more from them, and we're not giving them the tools that they need to succeed.
Sam, have you been following the ladies recently? The exploits?
No, not as much as I should have. And by follow, look, we got so much of things going on, right? So to actually watch all the games or even watch one game is really difficult. So I must admit I haven't. And I haven't even been following up on the scores as I should have. So I can't really offer comment. But what I want to ask you fellas is this. Everyone knows Hayley Matthews, right? Apart from Matthews, who are the other players that you're encouraged by? Because, look, the points Walter made about giving the women enough resources and so on, we get that, you know? And it's actually no surprise when we look and we see, okay, we're beaten by Scotland. What we have to recognize is that this is not the West Indies men's team, right? So there's going to be a lot more competition. I do feel when it comes to teams which traditionally, you know, aren't powerhouses in international cricket, if that makes sense. You see? So I don't, you know, I'm not going to lose sleep over our women's team not doing as good as we would want them to do. All right. And so that's why I'm saying, could we focus on the positives and say, well, okay, who are you impressed by? Who are you encouraged by?
So naturally, I'm impressed by Hayley. I think Hayley is on a different planet as compared to every other female cricketer in the world right now. You understand me? There's Hayley and then everybody else someplace else. I don't care what nobody says.
Mhm.
There is Chanel Henry. She went to the women's IPL recently and had a good tournament. I liked what I saw from her in terms of her power hitting. I think she can improve a little bit more on in her bowling. With time and aware and experience, she'll become a better batter, right? But there's young, well, not young,
Side James.
Karishma Ramharak.
Karishma Ram. Yeah, for bowling, yeah.
She's a wily spinner, wily spinner. But there is Zeta James. I love Zeta James's attitude for the game. I love her zest. You understand? When I saw her with the West Indies on the 19 team a little while back, and I was like, this young lady got something special, right? This young lady got something special, and it needs to be nurtured. And I'm looking at her like, this is Stephanie Taylor's replacement. You understand? Because Stephanie Taylor's getting up there in age. Her consistency is not where it once was. She's had a lot of injuries over the recent years. So her time, I think her time is winding down.
Yeah.
And then there's Deandra Dattin. I don't know why Dattin is not playing. I haven't seen anything. Is she injured? I think
they said that she was injured. She was injured.
Right?
They said that she was injured.
Okay.
She was injured when they picked the team.
Okay. Because I'm quite sure had Deandra Dattin been there, things would have been a lot different, especially in that Scotland game. But here's the thing.
Yeah, the Scotland game, yeah.
Here's the thing. West Indies have the parts, right? They have the parts. It's a matter of putting them together and making this automobile work. The ladies have the parts, right? I've seen them play. I've individually, they're talented. So I just think it's a matter of getting themselves together. And listen, qualifying, when you were in qualifiers, the men had the same problem 2 years ago. We don't do well when it comes to, we have to play in a kind of a every match matters. You understand? We do well in bilateral series and stuff like that, but when it comes down to tournament style cricket in the last 8-9 years, we struggle. I don't know what it is. Both men and women are having the same struggles. Not sure what is really going on. Water.
Yeah. Who I like? I like, as I said, Zida James. I think that has a good technique to it. Shabika Ghaznavi. I think she's decent. I watch her bat, and I think that there's something about her as well. I think there's also something about Alia Allen, right? And I think that there's something there. Charian Fraser.
What about Henry?
Quick.
Chanel Henry.
Well, she's a given. Chanel Henry is a given. Chanel Henry is a given. You can see the improvements in her. She's a game changer, and as Kevin said, if she could learn to be consistent, she could destroy any bowling attack in the world because she can hit it, right? And Charian Fraser Price, Charian Fraser, sorry, that thinking athletics now, yeah.
We have to institute a fine, Kevin. We gotta give this man a fine,
For real, bro.
Sorry, Shelley. Sorry, the greatest 100 sprinter of all time. Anyway, that's another show.
Are you saying the pocket rocket is now turned to cricket?
Yes, Charian Fraser, the Guyanese fast bowler. I think that she's decent. However, as Kevin said, I think that there is talent there, even though I think that a lot more could be done. I looked at it, and we should qualify. I think we should beat
Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Pakistan and Bangladesh. If Thailand beat us, I think we should stop playing cricket for the next 50 years. I mean, even considering yes, but I'm serious. I think that we should make it out, and once we Once we do that, we are going to qualify. Because I look at Scotland, unless Scotland get another dream, another dream
Match.
victory, I don't match. I don't see them doing that. But then again, it's Bangladesh and Pakistan.
So
So
here's this, right?
yeah,
Bangladesh and Pakistan, their cricket have improved. Their women's program has improved. There was a time when Bangladesh, for West Indies, it was a walk. For the West Indies women, it was a walkover. We show up, we do what we need to do, and we go home, right? In recent years, the Bangladeshis, the Sri Lankans have gotten a whole lot better. The Pakistanis, they're very feisty. You know, and the Pakistani women it's like they mirror the Pakistani men. There's some games where they come and they're on it. And then there's some games that they come and they're like,
yes,
what are you watching at? Right?
The word is mercurial.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Right? So West Indies have got to be on their P's and Q's when they come up against these two teams. They've got to make sure they're doing all the little things right. Right? Because these two teams are very feisty.
But
I'll say
gentlemen,
one thing.
is it the case though that our women are in a rebuilding phase of sorts? You mentioned Stephanie Taylor on the back end of her career, you know,
So
as one example.
I wouldn't say rebuilding. I think there's a few pieces that needs to be replaced, right?
Okay.
There's a few pieces that needs to be replaced. I'm happy to see that they've moved, because recently they had Zeta James batting at 7 and 8. I couldn't understand that for the life in me. You understand? Now they have her batting at 3, which I think is about the best place for her. She just now has to work out, how to pace her innings, you know, work the ball into the gaps. You know, she was having a kind of a struggle against Ireland I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. But she'll figure it out. She's 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, and she's ranked number 12 for the for the qualifiers thus far. Matthews is at number 3, James at number 12, Henry is at 17, and Stephanie Taylor at 19 for the West Indies. So yeah.
So I'll say this, fellas. I think that in the coming matches, yes, Haley will score some runs, but I think that the likes of Campbell and Stephanie Taylor need to step up a little more. We need to get some from the young lady at the top of the order. The other players need to say, you know what, I am not leaving this to anybody. Let it must end with me. And I think that they were just like, okay, the next person will do it as Kevin normally says. And I think that I need some more fight from everybody. I need to see more emotions. I need to see more commitment. I need to see this is disrespectful, but the truth is that we are qualified. We're in qualifying, but this is where we are because we have not invested in it as a Caribbean West Indian cricketing nation. But I need the players to be, and I'm sure that Haley Matthews have said it. You're not as talented as Haley Matthews. As Kevin said, she's the best player in the world at this point, but be influenced by her drive.
Absolutely. So that's a good place to wrap it up on the women, fellas. Be influenced by Haley's drive, and she does have some good off drives. I've seen Haley play some off drives, and it's a thing of beauty, right? But it's time to wrap the show up. I trust you guys have your squad. I got mine. I trust you guys got your squad. Walter, I see you look like you're right in there.
Yeah, I've been scratching and writing, but yes, when you are ready.
So, Sam, we're going to start with you. Where's your squad? Call it out.
All right. Brathwaite, Campbell, Hodge, King, Chase, De Silva, Imlach, Seals, the two Josephs, Alzari and Shamar, Greaves, Moti, and Warwick. That's my 13.
Mm. Walter?
All right. I
See,
did all over
that's
the
right,
place
you
for
on
this,
there.
but let's. Yeah. But it's had it in my mind for a while. Braffett,
Of
obviously.
course, we're gonna come back and talk about the squad after the A-team tour from South Africa, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
So we're gonna, So,
This we
but for
putting it
now,
out
at
there.
this juncture,
We putting it out there.
exactly.
this we
And
this
for
is
other
we
people to weigh in
tentative.
and offer their position too.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to
Yeah,
see
this
what
is we
everybody else
tentative.
got.
Yeah.
So, as I said, Braffett, I am, even though I cuss him just now, is between Campbell and Louis, so I up in the air with that.
Man, I want you up in the
At
air with
3
nothing.
again.
Walter, I want you up in the air with nothing. I want you sit down for no fence. I want you give me a squad. You understand? You gotta make a
Right.
choice.
All right.
13, you got 13
All
men.
right,
It's not
let's
a
go.
11, it's 13 men you're calling.
Let's go. Since you are behaving like, let's go. Braffett, Campbell, Django at 3. People would say King, but Django. Chase at 4. Braffett, Hope 5. De Silva 6. Imlach 7. And I think y'all disrespecting this man. Holder, I calling it Holder. Roach. Seals. The Josephs, Philip, and Warrakan.
All right. So I got a 15-man squad selected, right? I got a 15-man squad selected. I got Craig Braffett. I got John Campbell, Brandon King, Shai Hope, who's the captain. I got Amir Django, Jason Holder, Tevin Imlach, Gudakesh Moti, Kimar Roach, Shamar Joseph, Jaden Seals, Anderson Phillip, Kyle Mears, Alzari Joseph, and Jamel Warrican. That's my 15.
No, we said 13. I was wondering, it's 13 we wanted, you know. Oh, but you
13
give it
wanted.
15.
I go at a 15.
You see, with 13 makes it a little harder, you know. We know they're it's gonna be a 50-man squad. We at home, right? But 13 would make it a little harder to arrive at. You gotta make it a little exciting, you know. But we gonna forgive you for now. We gonna
All
forgive
right.
you, especially as the last man.
So
As the
Because
last
because
man.
I would have added Django King to my squad of 15. And honestly, if I had a 13, I should have said I would have dropped Alzari Joseph. People might be mad at that, but I don't think he's giving me enough now. And I don't think he's bowling.
If Alzari gets dropped, I'm not losing any sleep. You understand me? Alzari gets dropped, I'm not losing any sleep.
But fellas, I'll say this here. If for my starting it, I'm telling you this, I could really put in thought into this. Even Shamar Joseph is not starting for Australia if he doesn't get enough cricket or anything for me. I'm bowling Phillips in front of him because Phillips, and especially depending on how Phillips does in England, we gotta go on form, we gotta go on who got legs bowling overs in their feet. Because as you said, my boy is living the good life, and yeah, y'all know the story of Hansel and Gretel. I think the Indians are fattening him up to just to waste his time. I'm telling y'all, it might be a conspiracy theory, but I don't trust them. I don't trust the
I,
nations,
I, I
the
don't trust
nations
them
to look
either.
after our
You
cricket.
understand? Anyways, fellas,
Mm.
we're down to the end of the show. Any last thoughts, Sammy?
Last thoughts. I was very disappointed in Django. I expected to see a lot more from him this season. And that is why I left him out of my 13 and I went with King. King didn't play very many matches, and there were times when I was disappointed in his showing, especially this last round. But I give him the edge over Django based on what I've seen thus far.
Walter?
Um, West Indies cricket, please don't slaughter these men. Don't do like Obi's normally do. Don't I tell people the people I tell y'all, let me take care of you. When they make a mistake, give them $2 and let it go along. Proverbially, people, proverbial box, because y'all know it's
Uh,
2025 and we're not promoting violence. Yes, give them two proverbial box and yes, and I think that I wish that this season had another round.
well said. That last part there, well said. For me, Sammy, I share your thoughts. I expected more from Amir Django, right? If you are coming off of your first tour, you're trying to cement your place. You need to put runs on the board. You need to put runs on the board. He had good form. I think I saw about three different innings that he could have converted into hundreds, and he gave it away. Literally gave it away, as recent as this weekend. Right?
Yep.
Hold on, Walter. Hold on.
Fellas, I think we forget.
Oh,
Hold on,
oh,
Walter.
in fact,
Mm.
oh, sorry, finish, Kevin.
Yeah. Um,
Sorry, Kevy.
with regards to Guyana and the eighth title, my worry here is that it does not contribute to the overall betterment of West Indies on-field cricket. You understand? That is my worry. If we're going to have teams that are winning, and don't get me wrong, in the context of West Indies cricket, they played collectively the best cricket of all the teams, right? They played the best cricket. But my worry is, what's the point of winning all these titles, but we're not getting true representation on the world stage? Meaning getting into the West Indies team and taking West Indies forward. You understand? Those are my final thoughts. You were going to say
I
something.
have one thing to say. One thing that we have not mentioned. We look at the stats, but we have not mentioned Jason Mohammed's name.
I am not. There's nothing to say.
Nothing. But it's interesting Walter brought up Jason Mohammed, because what I wanted to add was this weekend. I hope other batters have a chance to go back and look at his performance. Jason Mohammed was 47 or something, and he was in no rush. I even think there was a break, and he came back in, and that's when he made it 50. No rush at all. While other fellas, I'm not gonna call names, we know them, in this mad rush. I don't get it. And when you get to the 50 mark, it's like you're starting all over again, so you gotta be careful.
So Jason
But yeah,
Mohammed's innings against Guyana should be instructive for all young batsmen, right? It should be instructive for all young batsmen around the Caribbean. Understand the current match condition. Understand what is in front of you, and play to that, right?
yeah.
You don't have to do any. This is red ball cricket. If there's anything you have, is time. It's not T20 cricket. It's not one day cricket. You're not in a power play and all this kind of madness. You understand? You have time. Take your time and bat. As the great Shivnarine Chandapal used to say, and I want we end on this: you can't make runs if you're sitting down in the pavilion. You understand, fellas? It was a good episode tonight. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts, and we will do this again next week.
Right. Thank you.
Good night,
Oh.
people.
Mhm. Yeah.